Think about the US-Mexico border for a second. What comes to mind? Most people think of fences, politics, and immigration. But while everyone is arguing about the wall, something else is slipping through the cracks. Something much bigger. Look at this. Just 125 miles south of Texas, there's a massive 2,100-acre industrial park popping up out of nowhere. It's called Hofusan. It's twice the size of Central Park, and it's packed with over 40 Chinese companies. See, China found a cheat code. They aren't trying to climb over the wall anymore. They're just building a new China right on the other side of it. Today, we're diving into the Mexico loophole and how Beijing is using it to park a Trojan Horse right in America's backyard. So let's talk about the math. Back in 2018, Washington basically told China, "We're done." They slapped on massive tariffs up to 47.5% by 2026 to protect American jobs. The goal was to make Chinese goods so expensive that nobody would buy them. But here's the kicker. China didn't just pack up and go home. They looked at the USMCA, the trade deal between the US, Mexico, and Canada, and found a massive loophole. If a product is made in Mexico, it enters the US tax-free. So China thought, fine, we'll just move the factory to Mexico. And that's exactly what happened. In just a few years, Chinese investment in Mexico exploded from a few $100 million to over $5.6 billion. They aren't just evading taxes. They're changing their identity. Now you might be thinking, it's just a few factories. What's the big deal? Well, let's look at Hofusan again. This isn't just a warehouse. It's a full-scale industrial city. Inside these 2,100 acres, Chinese giants like Kuka Home are pumping out furniture, electronics, and machinery. They use Chinese parts, Chinese tech, and Chinese management, but the box says, Made in Mexico. When those trucks hit the Laredo border crossing, U.S. Customs doesn't see a Chinese threat. They see a Mexican partner. It's a $100 billion trade trick that's happening every single day, and right now, it's completely legal. But here is where it gets scary for the average American. The auto industry. Detroit is the heart of the American economy. But China's EV giants, like MG and BYD, are setting up shop in Mexico with a billion-dollar smile. MG is building a plant to churn out 150,000 cars a year. Wait until you hear the price. An American-made EV might cost you $45,000, but a Chinese-Mexican EV? Rumors are swirling about a $14,000 price tag. How does Ford or GM compete with that? They can't. And it's not just about the money. Washington is terrified of connected cars. These vehicles are basically smartphones on wheels. If China owns the software, they could potentially track every mile you drive on U.S. soil. It's an economic threat wrapped in a national security nightmare. So what's the plan? Washington is finally waking up. They've threatened Mexico with a 25% blanket tariff if they don't stop letting China in, but Mexico is stuck in the middle. They love the Chinese investment, but they can't afford to lose the U.S. market. The big collision is coming in July 2026 when the USMCA deal gets reviewed. It's going to be a diplomatic war. But the problem is, the factories are already built. The land is already bought. China is already here. This leaves us with a tough question. Can America really win a trade war against a country that just changes its address? Or is Made in Mexico just the new reality of the 21st century? I want to hear from you. Seriously. Would you buy a $14,000 electric car if it meant potentially losing American auto jobs? Is the price tag worth the risk? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read as many as I can. And if you want to understand the hidden forces moving the world's money, make sure you hit subscribe to World Economic. See you in the next one.